If you've watched this channel before, then you'll know that I've got quite a bit of experience investing in Lego. And whenever I used to tell people about this, one question I always used to get was, so how much do you make? Now, it's a good question, and one that I guess is kind of asked about any type of investing. So in this video, I'm going to go over exactly how much you can make, the pros and cons, and I'll compare it to other types of investing, such as stocks, property, or real estate, as Americans would say, gold, silver, all of those kind of things, really. Now, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I generally make videos about Lego, so if that does interest you, please do put the bell on so that you get notified about any future video. Also, please don't take anything I say in this video as any type of financial advice. I'm merely sharing my experiences. Right, without further ado, let's get into the video. So if you know nothing about Lego investing, a quick 30-second explainer. So Lego has lots of products. Most of them are sets, and each set has a shelf life, which is the moment a set is first released until the moment it retires, aka Lego stops making it. And once a set has retired, generally speaking, Lego never brings that back. There have been a few notable exceptions over the years, such as the Taj Mahal and the Saturn V rocket, but these really are few and far between. So very simply, investing in Lego is buying a set before it retires, waiting a few years, and then selling it at a decent price that hopefully gives you a healthy profit. Sounds simple, right? Well, it's not quite that easy, but I'll talk more about that later on in the video. Now, before I get into all the numbers, a quick word on the Lego market. So the price of anything is driven by supply and demand, and when a Lego set does retire, the supply of that set stays the same or starts dropping, and the demand of that set either stays the same or starts increasing. And that's why all of those early sets, like all of the early Star Wars sets, are extremely valuable now, because back then no one really ever saw Lego as an investment, so it's extremely hard to find sealed copies of these sets. However, everyone wants these sets, so the price just keeps on going up and up and up. Now, in recent years, I have noticed that more and more people are getting into investing in Lego. However, Lego does seem to get bigger every year, and I haven't got any evidence to back this up, but Lego did recently announce record profits, so that's a pretty good indicator that this is true. So all those things being said, I do think that you can still make pretty good money from investing in Lego. So onto the numbers, what you're all here for. Now, I love data, and I love to base all of my decisions off the back of that data. So I took all the sets that retired at the end of 2019, and if you'd have bought all of them, it would have cost you £6,378. However, I don't think anyone buys Lego at full price, really. Certainly not if you're investing in it. So let's just say on average you got a 30% discount. That would have then brought that total to £4,470. So if you had bought all of those sets, this graph shows what they'll be worth at the end of each year. So you can see that it has increased a fair bit in the first year, up to £6,704, and then kind of started to even off, and at the present day they are worth £8,726, which in percentage terms is about 85%. So yeah, it's not that bad, really. I also did the figures for 2020, so if you'd have bought all of the sets that retired at the end of 2020, it would have cost you £4,786, and in the present day they're worth £8,394, so slightly less. So that indicates a 75% increase, which is not as much, but yeah, it's still fairly decent. So this graph indicates that you can make money buying and selling Lego. However, this graph is an average, really, because like I said, it's based on if you'd have bought every set that retired at the end of 2019. However, there's always going to be sets and themes that outperform these numbers. For example, if you'd have bought the Las Vegas architecture set at the end of 2020, this set has gone up 77.7%. If you'd have bought the Star Wars AT-AP Walker, this set increased 135%. And the Spider-Man's Spider Crawler has gone up 190%. On the flip side of that, some of the worst performing sets are the Newbury Subway set from the Hidden Side theme. This set went down 32.7%, and the People Pack Funfair from the City theme went down 30.6%. So as you can see, there are kind of different strategies that you could use. You could either kind of play it a bit safer and just buy everything, you know, and hope that it kind of averages out, or you could take a few more risks and you could focus on like individual sets. And I guess you could compare it to buying like individual stocks or putting your money in an ETF. And I think this is the fun part, if you can call it that. You know, if you're able to pick out those individual sets that are going to really outperform everything else, you know, that's actually a really kind of impressive skill. I haven't been able to. If you see my video on my experiences buying and selling Lego, then you'll know that I had a pretty tough time. But yeah, if you are able to, then you can definitely make a lot of money in a fairly short space of time. Okay, now that we've seen those figures, let's take a look at how they would have stacked up against other investments which you could have made. So if you had have chosen to put that £4,470 into the S&P 500 at the end of 2019, it would now be worth £8,508, which would have been a 90% increase. So very similar figures, really. If you'd have put it into Bitcoin, obviously extremely risky, it would now be worth £46,500, which is an increase of 740%. In gold, it would be worth just over £8,700, which would be a 95% increase. Once again, very similar figures to the S&P 500. And lastly, if you'd have invested into the UK property market, it would be worth £5,645, an increase of just over 22%. So as you can see, you'd have basically made the exact same amount of money if you'd have put it into, you know, just normal stocks or into gold. And these types of investments are much easier. You just put your money in and then you just have to not do anything really. Whereas if you invest in Lego, you have to then find time to be able to sell it, which is can be extremely stressful, and it does take up like a lot of time too. So personally, I would choose to just invest my money elsewhere, which is actually why I don't invest in Lego anymore. If you're interested in hearing more about my experiences investing in Lego, I have made a separate video which I will leave a link to. Please do check that out. That's the end of this video. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a like and consider subscribing. It really does help me out. Thank you again for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks, and see you in the next one.